the other way is Jack Burton, and Carolina has a touchdown.
So they're like, oh, well, we need real players. Oh, okay. So you need a quarterback? Sure.
Another opportunity, spins out of a sack, throws it to the back of the end zone. He's got his man. Touchdown, New Orleans.
He's up to the 30. He's gone, baby. My goodness. Somebody cool off that man's feet because they're on fire.
This is going to explode big time.
Eleven Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the Simulation Football League.
Welcome to Canada Field in beautiful Vancouver, Canada. Tonight's matchup features the 2-4 Vancouver Legion playing host to the 3-2 Queen City Corsairs. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on the 11 Sports Network. Good evening, everyone. I am Mike Daggs, your play-by-play commentator tonight. Alongside me in the booth is the star linebacker for the undefeated Seattle Tyrants, Eric Vincent. How you doing tonight, Eric?
I'm great, Mike. Thanks for having me. I caught a quick plane out of Seattle to make sure I can call this great matchup with you, and I'm definitely looking forward to this one.
I am as well. Hey, the Vancouver Legion, they're coming off a tough defeat last week against the Alaska Storm on what was a questionable penalty to end the game. They're looking to bounce back this week. They do so while going up against a team that absolutely destroyed their opponent, the New Orleans Pharaohs, shutting them out 41-0. Vancouver has kept all of their games close this season. They're not going to get shut out here at home tonight. What do they need to do to beat the Corsairs?
I think the Legion need to go with a balanced offensive attack, and what I mean by that is getting running back Pseudo Nakai the football early and often. He needs to have at least 20 touches today against the Corsairs. Looking back to a Week 4 loss against the Baltimore Vultures, Nakai had 27 carries, 216 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That was the only time he eclipsed the century mark. Combine that with star receivers Killian and Pratchard, you got a recipe for success at home.
Yeah, absolutely. And, looking at it last week, he only had 3 carries. Only 3 for 19 yards. Had a touchdown. His long on the night was 13 yards, though. It's not quite what they did the week before that you were referencing, and be interesting to see what they can do here tonight. Let's head down to the field to get this one started. Queen City has the ball teed up. Vancouver will get the first shot on offense. Ricky Matthews kicks it away, and we are live here in Vancouver. Ball is taken by Brandon Jacobson, returning it up to the 30-yard line. And we'll see the Vancouver offense take to the field, led by quarterback Tom Pepper. You mentioned halfback Pseudo Nakai. The wide receivers are Brett Killian and Rich Pratchard. And the tight end, always important tight end, is Craig Hearn, coming over in free agency from Sioux Falls this past offseason. Just take a look at Pepper leading his team to the line. First down and 10 from the Vancouver 30. Pepper will throw to get things going here. Out route to the top of the screen. Jump and catch is Craig Hearn. Nice gain of 5. We'll bring up a second down.
And Tanner Hendricks out there blanketed coverage. And your tight end out there, Craig Hearn, able to make a very difficult catch as the cornerback was literally in his hip pocket.
Queen City, number 2 overall in total defense. It'll be a tall order for the Legion to continue moving the ball. I think you're right, Eric. It's going to be they really need to have a good mix of run and pass to get this one going here today. That pass incomplete. Well defended again, trying to hit Hearn on another out route. And actually, no, he did catch that one, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He definitely did. He was able to get that. It was a funny looking play, though, as Hearn was kind of laying on his back. You weren't quite sure if he reeled it in or not, but that's 2 for him already, and tight end is getting the ball early and often.
Thought that ball was swatted away the way that he landed, but interesting. Offset eye in the backfield. Ball is handed off to Nakai for the first time tonight. Breaks a tackle at the line, fights his way forward for a gain of 4, second down and 6.
And that's what I'm talking about. Pseudo Nakai has the ability to break through tackles and get extra yardage from those broken tackles. So if you get him at least 20 touches tonight, whether that's on the ground or through the air, I have no doubt that this offense of the Legion is going to be successful here at home.
Well, there will be no touch for him on this play as the Legion go 5 wide. Pepper in the gun, stepping up, pressure coming in. Oh, breaks the sack, throws it, but batted down at the line. What a wild play. Let's take a look at the key players here on this Queen City defense. Defensive ends Jeff Duffy and Kyrie Hasten. You just saw Hasten there swatting that one away. Linebacker is Avery King. Most tackles by linebackers all time in SFL history right there, Avery King. Corners are Tanner Hendricks and Farrah Rains. Safeties are Bo Fi, Achilles Frank, and Nacho Sicario. Bo Fi joining the team this past week. Pepper on third down, firing down the field. That one's batted away and incomplete. Will bring up a fourth down, and this drive stalls out, covered by Tanner Hendricks on the play.
And again, great coverage out there by Tanner Hendricks. He drew Craig Hearn a little bit earlier in the drive, and Hearn came up with the difficult catch. Rich Pratchard this time, the intended receiver on that play, couldn't quite come up with the same circus catch that Hearn did a little bit earlier, so it ends up being fourth down now.
Here I come, punter. I'm coming. I'm gonna block the punt.
Jess Johnson on the field for Vancouver to punt. Taken by Davos Sanchez and immediately tackled at the 18-yard line. AJ Caswell will now lead his offense out onto the field to get things going here for the Corsairs. AJ Caswell, the sixth season in the league for him at quarterback, all of which have been with Queen City from Buffalo, New York. Halfback is Jared Willis, coming over from Chicago in free agency. Chris Curtis and Stephen Hacker are the wide receivers. I'm sorry, I can't speak tonight. James Matthew Jr., the undrafted rookie tight end. He actually gets that first catch of the night for the Corsairs. Nice gain of about 11. First down and 10.
And speaking of AJ Caswell, he's within sniffing distance to pass 18,000 passing yards in his career. And he's pretty close to passing Skeletor P. Funk, an old teammate of mine, for number 9 all time on the passing leader list in SFL history. So we definitely want to watch out for him.
3 wide receivers on first down. The ball is handed off to Willis. Willis carrying it up the middle for a gain of only 1. Eric Willis has, a little over 250 yards on the season, only 1 touchdown on the ground. Has another touchdown through the air. Last week, he only carried the ball 12 times for 45 yards. You mentioned Pseudo Nakai, wanting to see him get going on offense for Vancouver. I think it's equally important for them to get Willis going here as well for the Corsairs.
Yeah, I
Willis
100% agree.
Another handoff there. Gains about 4, bring up a 3rd and 5.
Yeah, 100% agree. And, looking at where they rank rushing-wise in the SFL, Queen City is close to dead last in the league right now, only averaging about 50 yards a game on the ground. So I would certainly want to get a talented running back like Jared Willis involved. Same basic scenario as Suda Nakai, only, obviously Tom Pepper likes to throw the ball quite a bit, and Caswell, maybe a little up there in age.
And that one batted away, well defended. Swatted down by Doug Day, the inside linebacker, and that'll bring the first drive for the Corsairs to an end.
An athletic move there by the defense to go ahead and swat that ball to the turf. And let me clarify, because I know that Queen City is going to start barking down my throat. They are 3rd in passing yards in the league right now. So obviously AJ Caswell does not need me to, slam him in any way, shape, or form, which was not what I was doing. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Ricky Matthews has his punt nearly blocked. Taken back at the 25-yard line. He'll get it up to the 27-yard line. We're going to take a short break. You're watching the Simulation Football League on the 11 Sports Network. Stay with us. And welcome back. First drive for each of these teams stalled out, and they had to punt. Offset I formation here to get things going on this drive for the Legion. Ball is handed off to Nakai, off tackle to the right. Nice gain of about 3 up the right-hand side. We'll bring up a 2nd down and 7. And, just talking a little bit about their loss last week, I mentioned it in the opener. Free safety Xander Mack was called for a pass interference on a 3rd down and 11. The pass was incomplete. It would have set up a field goal for Alaska. It would have been a 47-yarder, but it would have only put Alaska ahead by 5, leaving about 1:40 on the clock. As we see a penalty here, as that ball is fumbled and then recovered by Vancouver, but it looks like Queen City jumped off sides. So that play will not result in a sack. But getting back to what I was talking about, Eric, that pass interference that was called actually wiped out what would have brought up that 4th and 11 and the 47-yard field goal try, and instead, with Vancouver out of timeouts, caused Vancouver to immediately lose the game. It's always tough to lose on a penalty of any sort, but that one, it looked like the defender maybe barely bumped the receiver. Not to reopen old wounds for Vancouver, but they're certainly looking to bounce back from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And any loss is a tough loss, especially in this league.
Watch this. Nakai. Look at that. Nakai breaking a tackle, running down the sideline. One man to beat. Can he beat him down to the 10? Inside the 10-yard line. 1st down and goal from the 7-yard line. How about that? That's how you bounce back right there.
And the early on average, 20-plus yards a carry, that certainly doesn't help, or it certainly doesn't hurt, as he's got over 60 yards on the ground already. Certainly showing off some moves here. He's a big, thick running back. He can get through those tight spaces as well. So definitely a good run there by Sudo Nakai to get things going for this Legion offense.
Long of only 13 yards last week. He just broke that one by quite a bit. 1st down and goal from the 7-yard line. I think Vancouver was tired of hearing me tell a negative story and wanted to say, well, you know what? Let's put an end to that and get a positive run here. That one, that one for only 1 yard brings up a 2nd and goal from the 6. Vancouver's been a fun team to watch. Their record of 2-4 doesn't really tell the whole story. Their average win or loss all season long has been within 5 points of the other team. Their biggest loss was by 12, but that was to the league's top offense in Mexico City. Their next closest lost by only 4 points to Denver, who was in the championship last season. Pepper back to throw, firing into the end zone, and that one's complete but out of bounds. Bring up 3rd down and goal. And that game to Denver, they lost, but it was actually their lowest scoring game, and they still put up 20 points. So, definitely a team that you look at the record and it says 2-4, and you think, oh, they're not good. That's just not true. Last week they lost to Alaska, the champions, 21-23. It was crazy. Trips formation to the top of the screen. Pepper steps up into the pocket, checks it down to Nakai at the line of scrimmage, walks in untouched into the end zone. Touchdown Vancouver, and they put points on the board first.
And that was actually very poorly played out there by Achilles Frank, the 3-year guy, 6'2", 207 free safety back there. It looked like he came up towards the line of scrimmage after Nakai had received this ball coming out of the backfield. I'm not sure why he did that, but it was a bad angle, and Nakai had all sorts of room to just walk into the end zone untouched.
Extra point forthcoming for Vancouver. Tom Pepper actually stepping up to avoid a sack there. He's the most sacked quarterback in the league. 21 sacks so far against him this season. Extra point is up and through, and Vancouver takes an early 7-0 lead over the Queen City Corsairs.
And Mike, going back to your previous point on that drive by the Legion there, they remind me a lot of another team that their record I don't think really dictates the kind of football team they are, and that's the Carolina Skyhawks. They've had a lot of close games as well throughout the course of the season, and they've played some of these big-time teams really tough, and that's exactly what the Legion have done here this season as well.
Kick taken back at the 10-yard line, returned up to the 29-yard line. A.J. Caswell will get another shot at it. Caswell, a quarterback that's certainly used to throwing the ball, over 1,600 yards on the season, 13 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. His completion percentage is 73% on the season so far. That's good for number 3 in the league. Threw the ball 53 times last week, had just shy of 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks, 81% completion percentage. Crazy. Caswell back to throw on first down, out route to the top of the screen. Chris Curtis, the longtime receiver, with the catch, gains 7, will bring up a 2nd down and 3.
And with a big game today, Chris Curtis can go ahead and hit 5,000 receiving yards for his career, which is hard to believe that he's already been in the league 5 seasons. I feel like he just came in yesterday.
I know. Time flies when you're having fun, Eric. Caswell checks it down to Willis. Willis gets up past the first down marker, tries to spin his way for more yards, gets tackled. Brought down on the play by Gus Schultz. And let's take a look at those key players here on the Vancouver Legion defense. Big defensive tackle Zig Washington is flanked by Kevin Brackett at the defensive end position. Linebackers are Doug Day and Todd Dubstat, who just joined the team this past week. Corners are Kyler Murray and Monica Naka. Safeties are Mark Lopez and Gus Schultz. Schultz in on that last tackle. Gain of 1 there, and Todd Dubstat, who I just mentioned, joined the team this past week, making what I believe is his first career tackle. Welcome to the league.
And it's always fun to see these brand new rookies get in there and get their first taste of SFL action. Had a couple of them earlier in the day when I called the previous ball game. So it's always fun to see them get their feet wet and get that first tackle, that first notch in their belt.
Caswell out route to the top of the screen. Stephen Hacker getting the catch there, gains about 6 yards to bring up a 3rd down and 3. And, Queen City's been an interesting team to watch as well. I mentioned how Vancouver's kept all of their games really close. Queen City's kind of the opposite. It's, whether they win or lose, all of their games, except for one, have been like completely lopsided. Like last week, they beat New Orleans 41-0. But earlier on, they lost to the Alaska Storm 17-41. So 3rd down here. Caswell throws over the middle. That one incomplete. Pass was intended for James Matthew, the star rookie tight end, and that'll put an end to another Queen City drive.
Yeah, dangerous pass right over the middle of the field. There was plenty of defensive presence in the middle of the field on that play. And you're absolutely right with Queen City. It's hard to kind of gauge exactly what this team is. They'll go and they'll blow out the New Orleans Pharaohs, a talented team, by 41 points, completely blank them. But then when you're playing the champs, you kind of almost lay an egg. So it's very hard to gauge this team right now, Mike.
Yeah. Hold a team to no points, and then Alaska puts up 41 against them. Yikes. 7-0 Vancouver here from Canada. We will be back after a short break. Welcome back. You're watching the Simulation Football League on the 11 Sports Network. I am Mike Daggs, joined in the booth by Eric Vincent. Vancouver up to an early lead here in this one. They have the ball back. Pseudo Nakai taking another handoff in the backfield. Off tackle to the left, and there he goes, breaking through more tackles all the way up to the 45-yard line. And Eric, it's just what you ordered up. They're running the ball to Nakai.
This is what I wanted to see from Pseudo Nakai. I know he's got it in him. He just needs to get the touches. And a great way to avoid the linebacker there. That was Tim Jacoby coming up and trying to make the stop. Couldn't quite make it. And he just slips right through it again. thick guy, 5'7", 200 pounds. So you're not going to see him necessarily within that sea of bodies there on the front lines. And he's big enough to just squirt through tacklers if you don't wrap him up properly.
Nakai averaging nearly 5 yards per carry so far this season. A couple of big gains tonight. This time bottled up at the line and tackled. Achilles Frank wraps him up and tackles him right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and that's the kind of pressure that Achilles Frank, a player like Achilles Frank, can bring for this type of defense. He's one of those guys that likes to hover around the line of scrimmage. He likes to get in there and offer run support as well as the pass support. So that's definitely the bonus and maybe a little bit of the downside from a player like him.
Pepper going over the middle. That one's picked off. Intercepted on the play by Avery King. His first interception on the season.
And the other piece that I was going to talk about at the top of the show here, Tom Pepper has to take care of the football. He cannot throw passes like that where Avery King is clearly blanketing Craig Hearn in coverage and you throw it anyway. It's just one of those things you don't want to pick on a linebacker like Avery King.
Yeah, Pepper 15-23 last week, had 189 yards, pair of touchdowns, but he did have a pick. Completion percentage was at 65%, so not his most efficient game. He's averaging 70% on the season and threw a pick early in this one as that pass is checked down to Jared Willis in the backfield. Tackled on the play, but not until he gets up to the 41-yard line. And shout out to those of you in the chat with us here, late night SFL. Eric, we're on past 10 o'clock right now, 10:21 p.m. on the East Coast. If you'd like to join in on the chat, head over to the 11 Sports Next Twitch page. It's twitch.tv/11 Sports Next, and you can join in on that chat as well. That pass to Chris Curtis complete for a first down. Now let's talk a little bit about what the viewers are watching here. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time ever, we're the Simulation Football League. It's the world's first controllerless esport where coaches will select and design a game plan, put it in place, and then the AI will carry out the simulation. Players on the team are represented by real-life humans that help design the players and progress them throughout the year, and it's a whole lot of fun as that pass is complete over the middle to rookie tight end James Matthew, and I've been wanting to mention him, the 6'7", 265-pound undrafted rookie tight end is actually first in the league in receptions for tight ends with 42. He's got about 45 now with the catches tonight. 466 yards is actually good for number 2 in receiving on the team, just behind Chris Curtis. Fourth, he has 4 touchdowns, which is tied for first place in the league amongst tight ends, and averages over 11 yards per reception. He's having an absolutely phenomenal rookie season. Caswell, pump fake, checks it down to the bottom of the screen. Hacker with the completion, gain of 4, 2nd and 6.
And Queen City has always had a very tight end centric offensive game plan. So a guy like James Matthew Jr. that can come in here, who is a very tall target, very big target, obviously is going to be working wonders for this Queen City offense. And obviously has 4 touchdowns, 466 yards. That's very impressive for a tight end.
Caswell will throw, checking it down to Willis yet again. Willis gets the first down and a little bit more. Stopped on the play by Gus Schultz. You know, I mentioned Willis had about 250 yards on the season on the ground so far. He has another 150 through the air, and he's just adding on to that total tonight.
And again, going back to the Queen City offense, that's the kind of back that they like. They like the guy that can, you know, very shifty, can come out of the backfield, almost an Alvin Kamara type of back, similar to the NFL. So that's the kind of guy that you get with Jared Willis there. Shifty and can, you know, both run it up the gut and come out of the backfield.
Hacker with the completion, stepping out of bounds at the 21-yard line with 6 seconds to go here in the first quarter. 2nd down and 6 coming up.
And Stephen Hacker, a little bit of an underrated target. He's got 395 yards to his credit and a couple touchdowns. So, and 11 yards per reception. Big time playmakers here on this Queen City offense.
That will bring the first quarter to a close. Queen City nothing, Vancouver 7. You're watching the Simulation Football League on the 11 Sports Network. We'll take a short break and be back for the start of quarter number 2. Stay with us. Tonight's Simulation Football League broadcast on the 11 Sports Network is presented by APM Music, Production Music Library, and Custom Music House. And brought to you in part by Fuel Beyond Imagination. Visit the all-new sflinteractive.net today. By Matt Doyle Designs, the official branding partner of the SFL. And by MediaTek Institute. Turn your passion into your profession. Aerial views are brought to you by AirViews, united by drone. Visit airviews.com to see more drone footage, such as these beautiful shots of Vancouver, Canada. I'm Mike Daggs, play-by-play commentator, joined in the booth by Eric Vincent. Second down and 6 for the Corsairs to get the second quarter started. We'll hand the ball off to Jared Willis, breaking a tackle and getting up past the first down marker. And this is something that I wanted to see coming into this game, Eric. You know, Jared Willis, you kind of mentioned it on a little earlier on. He's one of the least used backs in the league. He's actually last in the league in carries for halfbacks who started the season. And that was kind of surprising to see. When Jared Willis joined the league in Chicago, he actually was a game changer for Chicago that season and turned the whole thing around. That pass over the middle, that one's complete to Elgin Villanueva, one of the backup receivers, for a first down all the way up to the 3-yard line.
Yeah, and you're absolutely correct on that one, Dags. I remember when Jared Willis came into the league, and he absolutely was a spark that the Wildcats offense really needed. And since coming over to Queen City, he hasn't really been that same kind of back, but we'll have to just kind of see what is there for him in this Corsair offense.
Caswell fires over the middle, and that one's complete to Chris Curtis for a Queen City touchdown, and they get some points on the board early here in the second quarter.
Well, in the way that this drive was going, you were kind of wondering exactly when it was going to happen, and this was an impressive throw and catch from Caswell to Curtis. And in the back of the end zone, a sea of jerseys back there, defensive backfield. Man, that was a heck of a throw and catch.
Pseudo Nakai in the chat saying, is that Andy on the ATV? I think it is. That was Andy on his way to the stadium earlier. And yeah.
Don't start without me.
I'm coming, team. I'm on my way. My goodness. Extra point is up and through, and Queen City ties it up. Coming up tomorrow night, there are more games. We got a great doubleheader coming up. Alaska, the winning champions, go to Chicago to take on the Wildcats, that we were just talking about. And then after that, Tallahassee heads to Atlanta, take on the Atlanta Swarm. All four of those teams having great seasons so far, so it'll be interesting to see what happens in those games. Jacobson brings that one up to the 31-yard line, and Tom Pepper and company are going to return onto the field to try to answer back and break this tie. 9:58 to go here in the first half. You're watching the Simulation Football League on the 11 Sports Network. Appreciate everybody being here. Had a little over 40 people in the Twitch chat a minute ago. Appreciate everybody staying up late. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Pepper back to pass, firing over the middle. Wide open is Rich Pratchard. First time he's getting involved tonight. The second-year player coming over in free agency from Oklahoma City. Has been having an absolutely fantastic season with the Legion so far, and a nice completion and a little bit of a run after a catch. He got tackled.
Yeah, but the key part of that one is that Pepper found the hole in the zone and was able to lead Pratchard right into it. And that was a huge gain there, about 14, 15 yards. And you're absolutely right, wide open. No one was anywhere near him.
Split backs in the backfield here on first down. Pepper, 7-step drop, stepping up into the pocket, and he goes down, wrapped up and sacked by Kyrie Hasen. His fourth sack on the season, first one tonight.
And Pepper actually did himself a disservice on this play here because the pressure was coming pretty much immediately. Hasen beat his guy right out of the gate, and Pepper just kind of stepped up right in front of him. I think he was just trying to avoid the pressure, obviously, but certainly didn't work out well for him.
I mentioned earlier, Pepper's the most sacked quarterback in the league, and there's another one there. Quick pass this time, and that one's picked off again, this time by Nacho Sicario, bringing it back to the Vancouver 38, and the mistakes by Pepper continue to mount.
And that's his second mistake of the evening. And again, we look at it, and this was a ball he had no business throwing. Yeah, he could have possibly thread the needle back behind the defense, but there were 4 white jerseys in that area. It's certainly a curious throw there by Tom Pepper. And again, Dags, he's got to take care of the football if they're hoping to get this victory here at home tonight.
I actually thought Avery King made that pick, which would have been crazy. He had no picks on the season. You know, he's a linebacker, so it's not totally surprising, but had one earlier tonight, and I thought he actually just got his second, but taken away by Seeker Hill. Caswell throwing it to Chris Curtis, and a rare bobble and drop by Curtis. He might have heard footsteps coming and got a little bit nervous, but incomplete.
Case of the yips there by Chris Curtis. Not sure what was really happening. He heard the voices in his head. I'm not sure what was going on, but little bobble and drop there.
He heard Dubstat. He heard him coming.
The rookie sensation coming to get you.
He's like, oh, nope, I don't want any part of that. 6'4", 245-pound linebacker. It's pretty big for a linebacker, and he was on his way full speed, so I can understand where Curtis might have been coming from. Caswell throwing on 2nd down and 10. Curtis making up for it on that one. Completion and run all the way up to the 17-yard line as we take a look at the comparison between Chris Curtis and fellow teammate James Matthew Jr.
And he more than made up for it on this play here. Nice little crossing route. Mark Lopez finally the guy who ushers him out of bounds, but there was no one within sniffing distance of Chris Curtis on that play. Gets himself into the SFL red zone at the 17.
Doug Day in the chat says it's only 7:30 p.m. in San Diego. The sun's still up. All right, why don't you just go ahead and brag? That's fine. That's fine.
San Diego has beautiful weather too.
West Coasters. I've been there once. It was great. Caswell checks it down to Willis. Has some room to run. Gets inside the 10-yard line, past the first down marker, all the way up to the 5. First down and goal for the Corsairs.
And again, this is how you want to use a back like Jared Willis. He can get you those extra yardage. And look, no one is covering him coming out of there. Very clearly, the Legion coming out in a zone defensive look. No one was with him on the play, and he was able to go and run for miles, essentially, getting himself the first down.
So we take a look at Gus Schultz trying to put a stop to this drive as the Corsairs come out 5 wide. Free play as somebody jumps off sides, fires into the end zone. That one's complete for a touchdown to Davos Sanchez.
And an impressive look here as they ran a bunch of slant routes into the middle of the field. Just everyone was running a slant, I believe. And it just worked out nicely for the Corsairs as Sanchez was just able to sneak in behind the defense.
Wow, triple coverage, too. That was a tight window. But he came away with it, and Queen City reclaims the lead. Just over 8 minutes to go here in the first half. Extra point is coming up in just a moment.
And a great veteran play there by Caswell, just to kind of go back to that. Him and Pepper have both been in the league for about as many years. You can kind of see the difference between what you can get on opposite sides here at the spectrum.
We'll be back after a short break. Stay with us. (14-7) Queen City over the hometown Vancouver Legion. Ricky Matthews will kick the ball off. Jacobson back at his own 10-yard line, ready to return it. Brings it all the way up to the 30-yard line. And Eric, talk a little bit about what the league is. You can go hashtag from the couch to the field. So the Simulation Football League is an interactive sort of thing. You can join the league and actually have your own player out on the field. And there's a bunch of other things that you can do in the league as well. But the key thing is, first off, is just joining the league. So how do you find out more about that? Visit our website, simulationfl.net. There you'll find a link to our Discord community. And you can join the Discord channel and become part of the league today. And you could even have your player on the field as early as next week, as teams are currently in the process of expanding. That pass to the fullback. I love this guy's name, Brick Wall. It's got to be a nickname. I don't think Mr. and Mrs. Wall would actually name their son Brick, but
I wouldn't imagine so.
but you never know. I mean, I have
No.
seen some pretty strange names in the Brick would actually not be the weirdest one. Offset I formation. Nakai, gosh, looks like he got fired out of a rocket, but tackled after only a gain of 2. But it's good enough for a first down, and they'll keep the drive alive.
And James Button getting over there and making that stop pretty quickly as we get a look at the Week 7 signings that have gone from couch to field. So Todd Dubstat, we've seen him plenty tonight in Bo Fi. He's been making his presence felt out there. Haven't quite gotten him on the stat sheet yet, but that'll soon change.
Well, look at that. Avery King with another interception. This time he does get his second one all the way back to the 30-yard line. And the all-time leading tackler for linebackers is making his presence in the secondary tonight, Eric.
And this is crazy. You were just talking about this. No interceptions at all for him to speak of during the course of this season. He's got 2 tonight. I mean, he's a regular ball hawk back there, which is crazy to me.
Well, he's wearing number 44, so he's trying to show off. He's like, you know what? This is a corner's number right here. I'm going to show you my skills tonight, folks. It's not just about the tackles.
That's what it is. That's what. But on that interception, honestly, all credit does not go to Tom Pepper for that. Bobbled interception there ends up being a tip drill and an easy pick for Avery King.
Caswell back to throw on first down, firing, going for it all here, and that one's caught, hauled in by James Matthew Jr., the rookie tight end, and he's into the end zone for another Queen City touchdown.
And this was a gutsy throw here. The coverage was actually pretty good. Coming up to make that play was James Hamry, and honestly, I think he probably could have made that play there. It was just a better catch by James Matthew, and he was behind everybody at that point.
It was actually Mark Lopez. Free
safety. It was Mark Lopez. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but yeah, he had good coverage. I actually thought it was picked, but Matthew able to pull that one away. See, that's what happens when you got a 6'7" frame going up against a guy that's 6'3". Ricky Matthews kicks the ball up and through. Queen City extends their lead 21-7. We're going to turn it over to the commissioner briefly for a game break.
Thanks, Mike. Well, in case you missed the game last hour, the Baltimore Vultures led the Sioux Falls Sparrows 16-14 at the half, the undefeated Vultures. By the fourth quarter, it was 16-49 Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls gets the win 49-30. Seattle, now the SFL's lone unbeaten. Back to Eric and Mike in Canada.
Thank you, Cam. That kick taken back up to the 31-yard line. And Eric, I know you were watching that game before ours too, and that was a wild one. T. Roy Gaines, the running back for the Vultures, usually impossible to bring down, but A.J. Levy for the Sioux Falls Sparrows had his number all night. It was ridiculous.
Just a crazy game to watch, because with the Vultures, they are one of the red-hot teams in the SFL, and they just did not look like themselves earlier on this evening.
Pepper to pass, pressure coming, breaks away from one sack, gets the ball off, and look at that, hauled in by Craig Hearn, the Moose tight end, for a first down. What a play.
I'm giving him a slow clap right now, because that was so impressive. Tom Pepper avoids the pressure here, not once, but twice, still keeping his eyes downfield. A bit of a quacker there. That was a bit of a duck, but
that was a punt. That wasn't even a pass. That was just an end-over-end punt.
I heard it quacking from up here.
The Moose with the reception, good for the first down. All the way up to the 48-yard line. Andy Hamilton in the chat saying, okay, how about we run the ball? Well, here you go. Run by Nakai, gets to the line, breaks through a few tackles, getting his way all the way up to the 48. Gain of 5 on that play, and I think Pepper was just tired of being sacked. He's like, you know what, I'm done with this. Get off me. I'm throwing this ball.
Well, and then the play after, he's like, here, take the ball. I don't want any part of this right now.
Just take it. Yeah,
go that way.
Take it. I don't even care which way you run. Just go. I'm done. don't want to get hit again. It's been putting fears in my head. Oh, here comes pressure. He steps up in the pocket, throws on the run, and that one incomplete. Trying to hit brick wall. The brick wall was heading down the field, and that one didn't quite work out as planned. Achilles Frank in on the coverage. 3rd down and 5 coming up.
That's a head scratcher because the brick wall does not have the softest hands. Go figure. So it was a little strange to see him streaking down the field trying to catch that pass from Tom Pepper.
Yeah, they don't call him Brick for nothing. I think Brick might be in reference to his hands, actually. Trips formation to the bottom of the screen on 3rd down. Pepper to throw. Pressure coming again. Gets this pass away. That one is actually hauled in this time by Brett Killian, a more reliable receiving target. The 6'5", 220-pound receiver's been with Legion for 5 seasons now. Over 300 yards and over 30 receptions on the season. 3 touchdowns for him as well.
And this play needed a little bit more time to develop. It was actually really good coverage out there by Morris Gibson, one of the extra corners they brought in for the formation. And Killian was able to finally break himself free after Pepper was very patient in the pocket. Good protection up front by his offensive line.
Tom Pepper throwing the playbook in the face of Andy Hamilton here as he comes out 5 wide, and then once again hit as he throws the ball. But that one is also hauled in. Nice catch there for good yardage. Gain 9 on the play. That's backup tight end Brandon Ward as Hearn was getting a little bit of a breather on the play. 2nd down and 1.
And Mike, I think you're absolutely right. I think Pepper's just a little bit tired of getting hit back there as the offensive line goes back to their old ways and lets the D line get in there.
Free play for the Legion as the defensive end jumped off sides, tackled at the line of scrimmage, but that one will be an automatic 1st down if the play is indeed offsides. It is. That one is called against
Jeff
I
Duffy.
lost my place. Yeah, Jeff Duffy.
Yeah.
Duffy with 5.5 sacks on the season is actually good enough for a top 10 spot in sacks, number 7 overall. And it's part of the way he's been getting there is getting that quick jump, a little too quick that time. Gives the Legion a fresh set of downs, new life to this drive. Nakai taking that one up the middle for a gain of 2, averaging 11 yards per carry. That's in large thanks to those 2 big runs that he had earlier on in the first quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, he probably could have bounced it off tackle to the outside there and had a little bit more run. Camera angles being what they are, couldn't quite see exactly who was waiting for them. And it seemed like the majority of the defense was up in the middle of the field as they are right now.
Nakai running off tackle this time, getting plenty of yards. 5-10, touchdown!
There it is, Dags. That's what we were talking about here. Bounce it to the outside, go off tackle. Great blocking as you see brick wall already in the 2nd level of the defense, laying a block. And Nakai, that was an easy one for him to hit the pylon.
See, that's what the brick wall is meant for, Eric. It's going downfield and becoming a literal brick wall. It just, nope, you cannot get through me right now. Nakai is running behind me. Just stop.
I run downfield. I hit bad guy in face.
Yes, coach. I go take out man. Yes. Down he goes. I think Wall was even surprised when he saw that pass come his way. Extra point is up and through, and Vancouver narrows the gap. 21-14, the Corsairs over the Legion. I'm Mike Daggs. On play-by-play, Eric Vincent joining me in the booth. Replacing my usual partner of Matt Wilson, we fired him. I'm kidding.
Again?
Matt, and yes, again. It's been the 6th time this season. No, Matt will be back in the booth with me tomorrow night. Just wanted to call a game with Eric. I missed you, and we needed to do this. So here we are. SFL After Dark. That kick taken all the way back at the 6-yard line and spinning his way up to the 26-yard line is Davos Sanchez. He actually only had one kick return last week, the second half kickoff, due to the shutout.
Yikes. Well, and honestly, if
SFL on Twitter at SimulationFL, use the hashtag Make an Impact, help spread the word. You're watching the Simulation Football League on the 11 Sports Network. Appreciate everybody being here with us tonight. Caswell hands the ball off to Willis. Matt right at the line. Gain of 1, 2nd down and 9.
Well, you mentioned SFL After Dark. If you were looking for the perfect partner for that sort of thing, I know you and Matt have a very impressive rapport, but hey, I'm
Yeah,
your guy for After Dark.
yeah. When you're talking about a game that's going to extend past 11 p.m. on purpose, you need Eric Vincent in the booth. I mean, that just has to happen. Second down and 9. Caswell, short drop, pump fake, pressure coming. Down he goes. Sacked on the play, back to the 24-yard line. Brought down by Zig Washington. Sack number 3 for him this season.
And Big Zig getting in there, 6'5", 290 of them, coming over from the New Orleans Sparrows in the offseason, and this is exactly what the Legion had in mind for him in this defensive front. Good play there by Washington.
Caswell in the gun on 3rd and long. Pressure coming again. Fires deep down the left-hand side. Incomplete. A rare drop by James Matthew Jr. And that is going to put an end to the drive. And, you know, we've been talking about Matthew quite a bit tonight because of what he's brought into the league in his undrafted rookie season. Number 1 in the league in receptions for tight ends. And I mentioned earlier he was tied for first place with 4 touchdowns for tight ends. Had one earlier on tonight, which now gives him the undisputed lead in touchdowns for tight ends with 5. He's having an absolutely incredible rookie season, but not feeling so incredible after that drop.
Well, we've seen several different star players tonight with the case of the drops, so I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe something in this Canadian water up here.
Or it's just some moisture in the air. It's making the ball slick. Punt taken back to the 42-yard line. Or, you know what's more likely? Andy Hamilton probably had something to do with it.
You're right.
That's why he had to make a last-second run to the store on his ATV and barely made it back. Let's take a look at the team comparison. I mentioned Queen City was second in total defense. You can see that there on your screen along with the other stats. You can also see the head-to-head matchup history between these two teams, 1-1. So we'll see which way that tips here tonight. 2.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Pepper checking it down behind the line of scrimmage to Nakai with some nifty moves, getting his way all the way up past midfield into Queen City territory. And a little slow to get up. All right, good. He did get up.
Yeah, he popped up. He's fine. But I honestly think he was listening to us talking about Jared Willis and was, hey, you know, I'm a shifty guy. I'm a little bit shorter in stature, but, you know, I still got the moves. Let me show you.
I got this. See if they can get the snap off before the 2-minute warning. And they do not. So we will take a short break for the 2-minute warning. We will be back in 30 seconds. You're watching the Simulation Football League on the 11 Sports Network. Queen City 21, Vancouver 14. 2-minute warning has come and gone. So 2nd down and 1 from the 49-yard line. Vancouver looking to punch it into the end zone. Nakai off tackle. That run has worked pretty good for them all night, as that one gets him another few yards and another first down.
And into opponent's territory here, and this is an impressive looking drive so far by the Legion, hoping to kind of even the score up a little bit going into the half, at the very least get 3 points on the board.
Three wide receiver set for Vancouver. Pepper, deep drop, firing deep down the middle of the field, has his target, breaking a tackle all the way up to the 12-yard line, caught by Craig Hearn. He's having an impressive night.
And the Moose is loose into the defensive backfield of the Corsairs, and an impressive throw there. Every time you see him, Pepper, do that deep drop, you know he's looking deep down the field, and this time he found the Moose, and a big gain there for the Legion.
That one is caught by Brett Killian, fights his way all the way up to the 3-yard line, steps out of bounds, 2nd down and 1 with a minute to go, and an impressive drive here for Vancouver. Looking good so far tonight. You know, I mentioned Craig Hearn having a great night. He had a great night against Alaska, last week as well. He only had 5 catches, but 121 yards and a pair of touchdowns. That's not too bad to get 121 yards off 5 catches.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. Pepper under center, fires to the corner. That one's incomplete, batted away. I think they were trying to hit Hearn. Hearn's got 4 touchdowns on the season so far as well. That's actually who James Matthew was tied with. So I guess Hearn saying, what we should do here is try to even that one back up. I don't want Matthew to run away with that one. And shout out to those of you in the chat. Vancouver Legion says, hey, that's not water. It's syrup that comes from our faucets. You just turn on the faucet here in Canada and fresh maple syrup flows.
Yikes.
Yeah. Great for pancakes. So 3rd down and 1. Pepper firing to the end zone, has his man complete. Touchdown, Vancouver. Rich Pratchard with his 7th touchdown on the season.
And Pratchard getting in on the action. Actually, a funny-looking throwing motion coming from Tom Pepper on this replay here. Trying to avoid the pressure and just kind of slings it over across his body, over into the corner of the end zone. Pratchard in double coverage makes the catch. Very impressive drive, capped up with a score.
Extra point forthcoming, and Vancouver looking forward to tying this one back up, as it looked like briefly Queen City might be running away, as they had a 21-7 lead at one point, and now theoretically all knotted back up here. Let's see how this extra point goes. Don't want a commentator curse him. Kick is up and through, and we are knotted back up at 21 apiece. And I mentioned it earlier on, Eric. Vancouver has kept every game close this season. Average win-loss was within 5 points, so they're not going to just give up without a fight. Taking a look at the signings this week, you can see Vancouver brought in a player, Todd Dubstat, we've seen, and Queen City brought a player in as well, Bo Fye, the free safety. That kick taken all the way back at the 10-yard line. Nice return by Sanchez. Gets it all the way up to the 32. 47 seconds to go in the first half and 3 timeouts. Still some time on the board, Eric, to see if Queen City can get a few more points here.
Well, and Caswell's run this 4-minute offense, now the 2-minute offense, plenty of times for the Corsairs. So I'm sure he has a couple tricks up his sleeve, especially with all 3 timeouts to work with. Just a matter of what the coaching staff wants to do here with 47 seconds left to go.
It looks like we're going to get a handoff to Willis. I think Queen City might just be content to carry a tie into halftime. No timeouts are called, ticking down to 30 seconds to go in the quarter.
Yeah, maybe wanting to go into the locker rooms, make some adjustments.
They're just going to go 5 wide, and here we go now. So
totally wrong.
Who knew? Caswell back to throw. Quick pass over the middle of Matthew. That one's complete up to the 49-yard line. They go no huddle. I don't know why they wouldn't call a timeout there. They're in Hail Mary range here, but I think we do see the snap. This should be the final play. Pressure coming, going deep down the left-hand side. Oh my, has Matthew, but time expires as he's tackled at the 13-yard line. And that is how we're going to go into the halftime break. 21-21, Queen City tied with the Vancouver Legion.
And
what a wild play.
And this is just a curious drive here, Mike.
A wasted opportunity.
Exactly. Maybe with a little better clock management, maybe that final pass there to Matthew, that could have ended up being a touchdown. But instead, we're knotted up at 21 going into the half.
Or at minimum, if when they had that catch that brought them up to the 49, call a timeout there. You'd have the ball with about 18 seconds left, and instead, you throw that pass. Now you'd have time to call a timeout still and kick a field goal. So brief, abbreviated halftime break. Why? Because it's almost 11 o'clock. That's why. So we're just going to get right back to the action. But what do you think of the first half?
Stats and highlights. We don't have time for any of that. No one cares about that.
No time for that nonsense at this hour of the night. So what did you think of the first half?
But no, I thought it was a very well played game on both sides by both teams. And I was going to mention this a little bit earlier. We might see a similar game from Tom Pepper as to the win that they had against the Carolina Skyhawks. Threw it 53 times, 3 touchdowns, 4 picks.
Oh, no. Check this out. Davo Sanchez getting up past the 40 to the 30. This is how they'll come back out of the gate. The 10, one man to beat, 5. Oh, he's tackled right at the goal line.
Man, and fireworks right out the gate here from Canada Field, and this is why you don't want to kick it to Davo Sanchez. Didn't get a whole lot of we because he within the.
It sounds like we might be losing Eric. His microphone cutting out a little bit there, but yeah, what an impressive return by Sanchez. I mentioned earlier on he only had 1 kick return last week, and it was ironically the second half kickoff, which he just returned now all the way up to the goal line. Not even the 1. They're going to mark him at the goal line. Caswell under center will throw, and that pass is tipped and nearly intercepted. Wow, what a dangerous play that one was. It could have easily handed it off to Willis, but they want to try to test the secondary, and well defended by Gus Schultz. Bring up a second down and goal.
Yeah, and Manakanaka had an opportunity to get that tip drill pick as well in the back of the end zone. Couldn't quite come up with it. So unfortunately for the Legion, they got to keep their defense out here and hopefully keep the Corsairs out of the end zone.
My goodness, look at this, Eric. 5 wide from the goal line.
From the goal line.
Caswell firing to the back of the end zone, and it's picked off. They get a little greedy, and it backfires. Gus Schultz intercepting it. 5th interception on the season.
Man, and I'm seeing a little Russell Wilson kind of shades here. As they could have easily have gone on the ground to Sudo Nakai. He's played very well thus far, and instead spread the football out. And just, I'm not sure what happened there at all. I'm sorry, Jared Willis, not Sudo Nakai. I'm getting my teams mixed up already.
The second time tonight, Eric, for Shane. Pepper back to throw, going for a deep pass, and oh no, that one's picked off. Nacho Sicario getting another interception, his second on the night, and I believe that's pick number 4 for Pepper, having an absolutely disastrous night in the interception category.
Jeez, Dags, did we step into the Twilight Zone? It started off with the halftime show not running, and now we've had a huge kick return capped off with an interception in the back of the end zone, and then they give it right back with another interception. My mind is blown right now. I can't keep track of what teams. I can't keep track of anything.
Yeah, you are an absolute wreck. That's all that we can say about that.
Save me.
Wow, it's just wild series of events to start this second half. This is just crazy. Out route to Stephen Hacker. That one's complete. Gain of 6 will get him inside the red zone, his 4th catch on the night. But yeah, absolutely wild. I mean, Sanchez getting all the way to the goal line in that last second diving tackle. I believe, if I remember right, I think that was Xander Mack who made that touchdown saving tackle. And Mack is the one who was called for PI to end the game last week. So a little redemption for him there. Willis taking it up the middle, what we expected to see from the goal line, and this time getting a nice gain all the way up to the 9-yard line. It'll be another first down and goal for Queen City.
Well, and again, Mike, we've talked about this a little bit. Jared Willis, lots of different things in his repertoire here that make him useful for this Queen City offense. He can come out of the backfield and catch the football. He can line up in the slot if he really wanted to. So I'm really not sure why they didn't utilize him in that goal-to-go situation. And here they have another goal-to-go situation. Guess what we're doing again? We're spreading the football out.
5 wide. Yeah, here we go again. Caswell back to throw, standing at the 15-yard line, firing into the end zone, tipped, nearly intercepted again.
Dags, and I'm sure that there are some guys out there watching this ball game that are on these two teams, but good grief, can we have one wide receiver actually secure the football? We have had so many bobbles tonight.
And you can take a look at the chat. They're seeing the reaction to the interception in the back of the end zone, and now you're going to be seeing the reaction to the interception that Tom Pepper just threw. Andy Hamilton, well, Caswell steps up into the pocket and sacked on the play all the way back at the 13-yard line. Zig Washington in on another sack, and continue to see that reaction there. If you'd like to join in on this chat, you can head to twitch.tv/11sportsnext. You can become part of the chat. And you can become part of the league. Head over to simulationfl.net. Click the link to join our Discord community. There's more details there on how to do that. 3rd down and goal. Caswell fires Chris Curtis at the bottom of the screen. Caught, but steps out of bounds at the 10. And bring up a 4th and goal and a field goal try for Ricky Matthews.
Ah, my God. Kicker punter extraordinaire Ricky Matthews coming on for another attempt. And honestly, it was funny going through some of the chat here. Suno Nakai in there saying that they're in football bizarro world. And
I know.
Look Alive, which is our guy, Michael Cirillo. No, you take the ball. No, you do it. No, you.
And that's
very funny to see the reactions.
It's one of the great things about this league is being able to have this live interaction with the people watching and being able to have that conversation with them. Field goal from 27 is up and through, and Queen City reclaims the lead yet again, breaking that tie. 24-21, the Corsairs over the Legion. So you can see the instructions on your screen. Visit simulationfl.net and you can join our Discord server, and then you can become a player in the league. Talks about the check-ins and when your next opportunity will be. Well, when will that be? Just a few days from now. On Wednesday, you would have the opportunity. This coming Wednesday, you might have just found the league tonight, and by Wednesday, you could become part of a team and have your name called out live on the air. And speaking of calling out names, let's give a shout out to those of you who are with us here right now in the chat. 41 of you in the chat with us tonight. So many more watching live on television. Vancouver Legion is here. That's Andy Hamilton, owner of the Vancouver Legion. Let's see. I don't even know how to pronounce this one. Zila Vila 47. I don't know. I'm sorry. That one's just too hard. Ram Voice, Mr. 23. Pseudo Nakai. Nice deep pass over the middle. That one is caught for a nice gain all the way up to the 48-yard line. I almost missed it as I'm reading off names here in the chat. The Stay Hydrated bot is with us. Always trying to make sure that you, too, drink your water. British Canadian Moose. That is the Craig Hearn.
And Ward, one of the backup tight ends, getting in there on the action and making the deep throw and catch there. How are we supposed to stay hydrated, though, since we've got the syrup coming out of the faucets? Like, what are we to do?
You're drinking liquid sugar, man. That's what you do here. When in Canada, listen, they've got a tight end with a nickname of Moose. I mean, it doesn't get much more Canadian than the Vancouver Legion. So
I'm going to crash hard later.
Syrup flows freely here. Oh, no, that one almost picked off by Avery King. Wouldn't that have been something? A hat trick of picks for Avery King, but drops that one incomplete. 2nd down and 10 coming up for the Legion.
Well, we got to look there at 2 of the stars on this Corsair defense. Sicario with 2 interceptions. Avery King with 2 interceptions, almost getting his 3rd here. As, again, he was back in coverage covering Rich Pratchard for some ungodly reason, because a linebacker should never be assigned a wide receiver, and he still hangs tough with him and makes the pass deflection.
Especially not a wide receiver like Rich Pratchard. He's been having an absolutely knockout season himself. As we mentioned, 510 yards coming in tonight's game. He averages over 15 yards per catch, and he's being covered by Avery King. That pass is complete to Killian, gets a 1st down up to the Queen City 41-yard line, and this drive will stay alive.
And an impressive hit by Achilles Frank coming up there, hoping to jar the ball loose from Killian, but the sure-handed wide receiver holds on to it for a 1st down and extends the drive for the Legion.
So here's a fun fact for you, Eric. Avery King has been in the league for 7 seasons. We're going on 4 years now that Avery King has been in the league. And after this play, I'll finish this thought. Pepper fires this one up to Craig the Moose Hearn for a 1st down. He says in the chat, tight ends are the only sure-handed players. Dags would agree. I don't know what he's talking about with that whole I'd agree thing. But no, they are. Throw it to the tight end. Look at that, another 1st down. But Avery King, 7 seasons in the league. Take a guess how many interceptions he had for his career coming into tonight's game.
Oh, I'd say maybe 15 or so.
Yeah, 2.
2?
2.
Oh, man.
And he's doubled it in one game. Look at that, Nakai spinning his way. That guy's just so shifty. He gets his way all the way up to the 26 after a gain of 5. But yeah, Avery King with 2 picks in his career, his 7-season career, coming into the game tonight. And Eric Barkley, the owner, head coach for the Queen City Corsairs, says, you know what we're going to do tonight, Avery? Go and pick the ball off. Double your total. 3 wide receiver set for the Legion on second down. Pepper, deep drop, pressure coming again, and down he goes. Sacked on the play by Jeff Duffy, trying to climb that sack leaderboard.
Yeah, he's got number 6.5 tonight as he drags down Pepper in the backfield. Huge loss there on that sack. And honestly, the way you described the interaction between Barkley and Avery King reminds me of The Replacements a little bit. Do you remember that movie?
Oh, okay. How can you forget
You,
that? It's a
you go
classic.
give me the ball. I'll go get you the ball. Okay, I'll go get you the ball. Okay.
King doing it tonight. Oh no, sacked again. Knocking him out of field goal range this time on a 4th down and 19. Kyrie Hasten with another sack.
Well, if it wasn't going to be Hasten, it was going to be Jeff Duffy again. Both of them coming off the edges and providing an immense amount of pressure on Tom Pepper. And you hit the nail on the head here, Dags. That's both those sacks knocks them out of field goal range, and they can't tie this thing up yet.
Yeah, they were on the move, and they would have at least, I think, been able to tie that one up, if not punch it into the end zone for another touchdown and take the lead. But with any luck, they'll be able to pin Queen City deep, and that one bounces out of bounds at the 12-yard line. That is where A.J. Caswell will take over on offense here after a short break. Stay with us. And welcome back, Eric. You know, I was trying to figure out after I saw that stat about how Pepper's the most sacked quarterback in the league with 21 coming in tonight, and just adding on to that total here tonight. I wanted to try to figure out, well, what is it? Oh, look at that. Willis hit and still staying on his feet. Gained 6 on that one with forward progress. But have you seen anything that you can think, that's why Willis keeps getting, that's why Pepper keeps getting sacked. I've noticed he's had a lot of like 7-step drops, and that's when the pressure seems to get to him. But
well, and that's that honestly might be it there, Dags. That'd be the only thing that I can kind of pinpoint just looking at it from a defensive perspective. That would be the problem, as Caswell throws another just dot to Chris Curtis there into coverage. I'm not sure how he keeps completing those. And again, we're going off of 2 similar quarterbacks. They've been in the league for similar amounts of time, and yet somehow Caswell is completing these passes, and Tom Pepper is throwing interceptions right now.
Yeah, both. You mentioned that they're similar. Both of these quarterbacks are eerily similar on the stat sheet. 1,600 yards, 3 touchdowns, 7 picks, 73% completion percentage for Caswell. Pepper, 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns, 8 picks, 70% completion percentage. So coming into the game tonight, yeah, really very similar. Another completion to Chris Curtis. That one good for a gain of 9. It'll be a 2nd and short from the 41. And I was expecting to see similar performances out of these quarterbacks, but so far, I don't know if it's just a random roll of the dice or what, but things have gone Caswell's way. And Pepper, not having quite the success he was hoping for yet. There's still plenty of football left. 24-21 is the score right now, so still a very close game. Another first down for the Corsairs as Willis spins his way just shy of midfield. It'll be first down and 10 from their own 49-yard line.
And the edge rusher here for the Legion just shoots up the field and doesn't even pay Willis any mind as he's coming out for the screen pass. There was no one there to cover him, and he got plenty of yardage for the first down. But going back to what you were talking about with Tom Pepper, and kind of seeing this now with Caswell hasn't had a long 5 to 7 stops. So that might be why he's not necessarily getting sacked in the way that Tom Pepper is.
Yeah, agreed. First down and 10 from the 49-yard line. Caswell hands the ball off to Willis. Short gain on the play. Bring up a 2nd down and 7.
And I apologize for my microphone kind of cutting out there, but Tom Pepper going up against two impressive edge rushers like Jeff Duffy and Kyrie Hasten, that could also be part of the problem as well.
Second down and 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. 3 wide receiver set for Queen City. Out route to Chris Curtis is complete up to the 44-yard line. Will bring up a third down and a manageable 3 yards coming up.
And this has been the game plan for the Corsairs. They've been doing a lot of dink and dunk, a lot of screen passes, and nothing really too down the field as of right now. So and it's been working to some success today. They've been capitalizing on the mistakes that the Legion have made, and they've got themselves the lead right now.
Caswell back to throw, out route to the top of the screen. That one's dropped again by Chris Curtis. That's surprising.
And we've seen a lot of drops, a lot of bobbles. I'm not sure what's going on today, but on both sides of the football, both the Legion and the Corsairs, I mean, it's a head scratcher. I really don't understand what's happening, but Chris Curtis has had a couple different ones tonight.
That puts an end to the Queen City drive as they will be forced to punt well out of Ricky Matthews' kicking range, but Ricky Matthews still gets to be on the field as he is the kicker and punter for this team. The only team that does that in the league. This one will bounce down to the 6, the 1, and a beautiful special teams play by Ricky Matthews, downing the ball at the 1-yard line.
This is why he's the kicker punter extraordinaire, downed at the 1.
Absolutely. Extraordinaire. My goodness. You know, that's the sort of punt that you see from some of the higher paid, more talented punters in the league. And Ricky Matthews, he's just been around forever and still knows how to get it done and doesn't ask for much from Queen City in terms of the paycheck. Pepper in his own end zone. I'm not sure what the penalty would be there, but he kind of sidearms the ball to Killian, gets it up past the first down marker, but let's check out the call.
I think he might have crossed the line of scrimmage here, Dags.
And you're absolutely right, Eric. It was an illegal forward pass. And are they going to call that a safety? Because was he in the end zone or was he out?
I think he was outside of the end zone.
They'll call it a second down. So right from the goal line, though. So they did half the distance to the goal from the 1.
Whew, man, that's a sigh of relief there for. Oh, and Vancouver's going to challenge that. That's interesting as well.
Wow. Okay. So challenge on the play. They're going to challenge where Pepper was when he threw the ball. This is interesting.
This really is Bizarro World. Like, we're in football Bizarro World right now.
That's what happens at this hour. See, I didn't think he was past the line of scrimmage. You know, I know that was what you saw, but it looks to me like he was still behind it. Let's get the call from the ref. And they say Pepper was indeed behind the line of scrimmage. Vancouver is not charged with a timeout, and they will get the first down up at the 11-yard line.
And it's curious, too. Looking at it in real time, I thought he might have crossed over the line of scrimmage. But very clearly, looking at the replay there, he was certainly behind it, and I'm glad they got the call right on the field.
Yeah, well, I guess the ref saw the same thing, in real time. That's why he threw the flag. That's actually all the way up at the 14-yard line. Nice catch, one-handed catch by Killian. Pepper getting another shot at it now, firing deep down the left-hand side, and gosh, another drop. Well, that one's another deep pass to the brick wall, so that one's maybe not as surprising as Chris Curtis, but drops, weird penalties, sidearmed throws, kicks. What is going on? What a weird game. And it's all in the second half. First half was fine. It's this third quarter is just backwards. The whole thing is just strange.
It was kicked off with the halftime show being cut short. I'm telling you right now.
That's when it all went downhill. Speaking of downhill, Nakai running this one downhill off tackle to the right, taking advantage of that play yet again. 136 yards on the night for Nakai. 3rd down and 2 coming up.
And I talked about this at the top of the broadcast here, Mike. Only the second time he's eclipsed the century mark this season. And again, I think this is the recipe for success. You got to get Nakai the football in some way, shape, or form. Tonight, it's been on the ground.
Queen City only 5 games into the season. This one, they're 6, but they have not lost to a team with a losing record yet. And that one is picked off to end that drive for the Legion. The picks are just racking up for Tom Pepper. Achilles Frank with the takeaway on that one.
And here into owned by imagination and bolted in the interception.
And sounds like we may have lost Eric Vincent again. We'll see if we can get him back here in a moment. Split backs in the backfield for Queen City as they look to get this drive going. A.J. Caswell checks it down to Willis in the backfield. Immediately wrapped up and tackled by Manakanaka. 2nd down and 7 coming up. And Eric, did we get you back?
Back now.
There we go. Glad to have you back. 2nd down and 7 coming up. Take a look at the stats for James Matthew Jr. Offset I formation in the backfield. 3 receivers set for Caswell. Short drop. Pressure coming, and down he goes. Sacked on the play back to the 42-yard line. A pair of defensive linemen in on that one. Zig Washington. And I believe the other one was Stanley Hudson, if I saw the number correct.
And again, great pressure there.
Yeah. 3rd down and 8 as we tick away the final moments here in the 3rd quarter. Caswell alone in the backfield. Has time, fires past the line of scrimmage. Caught by Stephen Hacker. A pair of spins will get him up to the 31-yard line. And another Queen City 1st down.
And Stephen has been quiet this evening. He's finally making this felt here in half as he comes up with an impressive catch.
See if the snap is able to get done before the break, and it is. This will be the final play of the 3rd quarter. That one tipped and nearly picked off and then caught by James Matthew Jr. That is the only way that you can end this bizarre 3rd quarter.
And we'll get another look here, Mike. I am completely flabbergasted that he is able to come up with this. But again, a case of the yips and the bobbles, and then eventually it ends up being a completion.
Pass was intended for Chris Curtis, but James Matthews says, I'm just going to add on to my stats. That's the end of the 3rd quarter, 24-21. Queen City over the Legion is your score. We will be back. More football actions just around the corner. Stay with us. Welcome back to Vancouver, Canada, where the Vancouver Legion are fighting to stay in this game as Queen City has the ball all the way up at the 13-yard line, looking to put more points on the board. They already have a 3-point lead. Caswell, pressure coming again, fires on the run. That one is incomplete, wildly thrown out of bounds. 2nd down and 10. And Eric, that had to be the weirdest quarter of football I think I've ever seen.
Well, between me sounding like a robot with all the syrup coming out of the faucets and just seeing all the bizarre different events that are taking place on the football field, I really don't know. Who knows what's going to happen in the 4th quarter?
Well, hopefully we can get back to a little bit more normal football. 2nd down and 10. Caswell, short pass over the middle to James Matthew Jr. That one is complete. Gets actually all the way up to the 3-yard line before he's tackled. 3rd down and inches. And I think this is where I'd like to see them hand it off to Willis, unlike when they had the 1st and goal from the goal line to start the 2nd half.
And very quickly, Caswell coming to the line. He does have Willis as the single back in the backfield here, so not spreading the football out this time. Let's see what happens.
They do hand the ball off to Willis, and he does indeed get the 1st down. 1st down and goal from the 2.
And it was a perfect formation for him to just turn around, give it to Willis there. He had the extra blocker in the backfield as well. Perfectly run play and a good defensive stop there by the Legion to make sure he didn't get in the end zone.
3 wide from the 2-yard line. Caswell under center. Willis in the backfield. They will hand it off to Willis again, and he's fighting his way towards the end zone, and he is in for Queen City touchdown.
And this is the kind of action you can expect from Jared Willis, as he is just a bowling ball sometimes, bouncing off all sorts of defenders, eventually getting himself into the end zone for the touchdown.
You know, and I was shocked when preparing for this game when I saw Jared Willis only had 1 rushing touchdown on the season. I thought, that can't be right. I must be looking at just last week. But no, that was it. Just 1 rushing touchdown on the season, and powers his way into the end zone there, being used a lot more heavily tonight than any time earlier on in this season. So Queen City extends their lead by 10. You're watching the Simulation Football League on the 11 Sports Network. We're going to take a short break and then get right back to it. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Queen City up by 10. We'll kick the ball back off to the Vancouver Legion. I'm Mike Daggs, play-by-play commentator, joined in the booth by Eric Vincent. Eric's been a fun game so far, and I'm expecting Vancouver to fight their way right back down the field and get some more points on the board. They see this 10-point deficit, and they're like, "No, we got to get this a little bit closer right now." You know, inside 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and it's time.
Well, and especially seeing the type of third quarter that we had, who knows what's going to happen here in the fourth, which, you know, we've seen some success on the ground with Suda Nakai. Not really a fantastic game from Tom Pepper through the air. Maybe we'll see more of the ground game.
Pepper throws over the middle. Dangerous pass again inside coverage, but Brett Killian hauls that one in, his 4th catch on the night. Killian having a good game when he's been targeted.
Well, and this is the kind of ball game that Tom Pepper has had. It's been very off and on. When he's on, he's looking good. He's completing these type of passes over the middle of the field into coverage, and he's looking like, you know, Tom Brady. And then there's times where he's looking like maybe Nathan Peterman.
Now, why you got to call out Nathan Peterman?
He's over in Oakland now. You don't care about him now.
Well, you know, he was on a Buffalo team, and Queen City being from Buffalo. I just think you're throwing shade at Buffalo now. But
Nah.
Pepper back to throw. That pass is once again caught by Killian. Short gain of only 3 will bring up a 2nd down and 7. And, you know, I believe that Vancouver's game plan last week was we're just going to let Pepper throw the ball. Nakai only had 3 carries, and you know, you hit the nail right on the head in your opening when you said, let's get Nakai involved again and see if we can hand the ball off a lot and get him a lot of runs, and they certainly have. But now down by 10, 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. We'll see what they do here, and they will drop back to pass. Pepper hit as he threw. Intended target was brick wall again, and that one's incomplete. 3rd and 7. But you know, I hate to say abandon the run, but we're kind of running out of time now. What do you think about adjustments to the game plan?
Well, and in those specific type of plays right there, where brick wall is the one that's coming out of the backfield to try and receive the pass, why don't we get Suna Nakai involved with that?
Right.
You know, I know that the game plan is already kind of input in here and everything, but I'm not sure exactly why brick wall is the guy they're choosing to go ahead and you know, be the focal point for those plays.
Pepper saw something downfield, and he took advantage of it as he hit Brett Killian deep down the field. Press coverage taken advantage of there. Pepper has 221 yards on the day now and took advantage of the coverage on that one.
And I'm not sure what the defender was really doing out there. It was very clearly man coverage. Pharaoh Reigns comes up and and takes a
Just
couple steps
stands there.
forward towards the line
Yeah.
of scrimmage. I'm not sure what that was.
Yeah,
And
I thought it was pressed just by how open he got it, but it actually wasn't. He had a good 5 yards back. Maybe he didn't see the snap, but Pepper going deep over the middle towards the end zone, and oh my goodness, that one was almost picked off by Avery King.
that would have been his third.
I would have screamed. I wouldn't have been able to handle it. Avery King, seriously? 2 interceptions on his career coming into the night. 2 tonight for Avery King. And almost a third right at the goal line to end the drive. But 2nd down and 10, Tom Pepper will get another shot at it here. Desperate for points. Maybe that's not the right word, but they are in field goal range.
They would be nice.
Yeah, the points would certainly be a bonus here. Nakai with the handoff, brick wall, throwing a nice block out in front, and Nakai is into the end zone for a touchdown. There are your points.
That's what I'm talking about right there, Dags. This is the kind of play that has been successful all game long. Bouncing into the outside, off tackle, and brick wall has been consistently getting into the second level of the defense as we get a great look at the referee's pants there on the camera angle. But this is the type of play they need to be running for Pseudo Nakai.
Yeah, and what you also got a great look at, though, on that replay was Avery King sprinting after Nakai. And that's what the Vancouver Legion need, is to, be able to keep the ball out of Avery King's hands. I mean, it sounds ridiculous to say. Keep the ball out of the linebacker's hands, but he's had an absolutely great night. So give it to Nakai, let Nakai run with it. And, no, you shouldn't abandon the run, because you some points on the board there. Vancouver narrows the gap. We're going to take a break. We will see you on the other side. You're watching the Simulation Football League on the 11 Sports Network. Tonight's Simulation Football League broadcast on the 11 Sports Network is brought to you in part by Nation's Best Football, helping the NFL, college, high school, and youth players to help #secure the bag. By ScoreStream, the official live scoring app of the SFL. By Sector 6, custom esports jerseys and apparel, and the exclusive SFL shop provider. And by SpyGoat, dedicated to the craft of audio. Aerial shots brought to you by Airviews, united by drone. Visit airviews.com to see more drone footage, such as those boats in the Bay of Vancouver. Vancouver has the ball teed up, ready to kick it off. Let's take a look at the reaction to the touchdown run by Pseudo Nakai as we see the chat up on the screen now. This is the Twitch chat on the 11 Sports Network Twitch page. Shout out to all of you who are still here with us, 46 of you in the chat. AJ Caswell, Mince Mind, Vancouver Legion, Doug Day, Nacho, QCCVP, Stephen Hacker 3, Jay Wowza, and many, many more. Jay Wowza. And everybody loving that Pseudo Nakai run. Calling his name out, as now it's up to the Vancouver defense to put an end to a Queen City drive and get the ball back. And that's a good way to get that started as Manakanaka comes flying in. His third tackle on the night, 1 for a loss. And it was that one right there.
Yeah, and Manakanaka making a great open field tackle to start off this drive. And that's exactly the type of play that they need to see from their defense, the Legion, that is, in order to get the ball back and hopefully take the lead for them.
Kanaka coming over to the Legion from Houston in free agency, and that's the exact sort of play they wanted to get out of him. Out route to the bottom of your screen, Davos Sanchez with the catch. Momentum carries him out of bounds. 3rd down and 2 coming up, and a huge opportunity here for the Legion.
And that was good coverage there. They were set up right at the sticks, made sure that he didn't get the first down. So it sets up a 3rd and short here, and a great opportunity for the Legion to get a 3 and out and get the football back.
Going 5 wide on 3rd down and short. Caswell back to throw. He's been known to run it himself, too. That pass intended for James Matthew Jr. could have easily been called for pass interference there, but they don't. And that looked more egregious than the penalty that ended their game for them last week.
It was kind of curious. It was obviously very, very tight coverage, and honestly, hats off to the Legion for playing said tight coverage for a very important series there. But I'm with you there, Dags. Could have gone either way. Didn't see any laundry on the field, unfortunately, for the Corsairs, and they've got to punt the football away.
A call finally going the way of Vancouver. It seems to always go against them at the most inopportune times. Brandon Jacobson bringing the ball back up to the 35-yard line for Vancouver, and Tom Pepper coming back out onto the field. We will see what he can do. Thrown a plethora of picks so far. That's right. Even at 11:30 at night, we can break out the big words. But there's the man of the hour, Pseudo Nakai, 158 yards, averaging over 10 a carry, and that's huge, huge, huge for the Legion, as you mentioned. Nakai on this carry, spinning his way up to the 41, gain of 6, and I was dead wrong, Eric. You can't abandon the run. 7 minutes to go, all of your timeouts. That was just silly to even think of saying. Nakai's been carrying the team for him tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was one of those things we talked about in the break there that, looking at the way the game was trending, being down by 10, you weren't 100% sure that the Legion could make this thing happen, and they're right back in it.
Absolutely. Pepper with a deep pass. Oh, that one's caught. Rich Pratchard, he's going to go to the house. 10-5 touchdown Vancouver, and they take the lead.
What a play. 50-50 ball thrown up in the air. That was a perfectly thrown ball by Pepper, and Pratchard just does what he does best, goes up, grabs it, and takes it to the house.
And, that's beautiful. What I love to see is that even though Pepper has thrown a bunch of picks tonight, a plethora, as it were, he's not afraid. He's like, you know what? Nakai's been having a great night, but look at that. Rich Pratchard, one-on-one. He was tied coming into the night with 6 touchdowns, tied for second place in the league with touchdowns, and trying to add on to that total. Throws the ball his way, jumps up, plucks it out of the sky. That's what you expect your 6'2" receiver to do. He does it there. Vancouver takes the lead. Extra point will make it a touchdown game at now a 4-point lead. 35-31. The hometown Legion, Queen City Corsairs. You're watching the Simulation Football League on the 11 Sports Network. We'll take a short break. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. Legion keeping this one interesting. We are in Canada Field here in beautiful Vancouver, Canada, for a late night game. I appreciate everybody being with us. 47 of you in the chat and so many more on so many other platforms, as the 11 Sports Network is available in a lot of different ways to our viewers. It's been a great partnership with them so far. Appreciate everybody joining us tonight. If you'd like to find out more about the league, visit simulationfl.net, where you can find all the history you'd ever like to know in the league. In fact, that's where I plucked that stat about Avery King having 2 picks on his career coming into the night. It's all available at your fingertips on that website. Also, even more importantly, a link to the Discord channel, and you can see the reaction to that Rich Pratchard touchdown catch on your screen now. That's the Twitch chat on the 11 Sports Network Twitch page, twitch.tv/11 Sports Next. And everybody very excited about that touchdown. Why wouldn't they be, Eric? They took the lead, now up by 4. Queen City's got to get a touchdown. A field goal just gets them closer, but not enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, looking at it, Minson Mind was saying that it was a 50-50 ball, poor decision by Pepper. I couldn't disagree more. I commend him for still having the confidence to throw that 50-50 ball despite throwing all the interceptions he has tonight.
Caswell checking it down to Willis behind the line of scrimmage, trying to pull his best Pseudo Nakai impersonation with those spins. Gets his way up to the 34. 3rd down and 3. The spins and jukes have been a little bit more in Nakai's favor tonight.
Yeah, spins, jukes, and runs. I mean, we have it all here tonight. Good grief. But no, Jared Willis trying to get the first down yardage just couldn't quite make it happen against this Legion defense who has found new life here in the 4th quarter.
3rd and 3, we go 5 wide. Matthews staying in the block, and that paid off in that one as it kept Caswell clean. He gets the pass away, complete for a Queen City first down. They'll keep this drive going with 5.5 to go in the 4th quarter.
Morris Jackson, the recipient there, and just simple route right over the middle of the field. Good coverage, just a better catch there, and that moves the sticks for them.
We'll stick to the 5 wide formation. Caswell in the gun, has time, fires over the middle to Willis, who was flanked out as a receiver. Don't see that every day, but it worked out well for them there as he gets up to the 45-yard line and another first down.
And again, we've talked about it several different times tonight, Dags, but this is the type of option that you have available to you with a back like Jared Willis. You can flank him out in the slot as a receiver. He's a crisp route runner, and obviously he has the soft hands to make those catches there in traffic.
4 minutes, 46 seconds to go here in the ball game. Caswell, pressure coming, shakes the sack, steps up, and he's going to take off. I mentioned earlier he's been known to run with that ball. He does on that one, gains 4, gets what he can out of it. That'll bring down a 2nd down and 6.
And man, pressure was in his face, and Caswell just stepping up, still looking downfield, had nowhere to throw it, and that little timer in his head going off, just dinging in his ear. Had to take off with the football. Thankfully for him, got a couple yards.
James Matthew Jr. at the bottom of the set. Keep an eye on him. Caswell firing it over the middle. That time it's complete to Stephen Hacker. Will bring up a 3rd down and 1, and you can see the quarterback comparison tonight. 5 picks for Pepper has been the difference. Caswell with well over 300 yards, and you know what that means, Eric. You mentioned it much earlier on in the broadcast. Caswell now has surpassed Skeletor P. Funk, the former Atlanta and Louisville Wolfpack quarterback, to number 9 all time, as Queen City gets yet another first down by Jared Willis. So congratulations to AJ Caswell, moving up that all-time passing yard leaderboard, and Queen City keeping this drive going and ticking time off the clock. It's very methodical.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, hats off to Caswell for reaching number 9 all time there. I remember playing with Skeletor P-Funk in Atlanta, and he was a heck of a quarterback. So you can definitely say all those same things about Caswell.
Hacker with the out route, gains 5 up to the 25-yard line. And, Queen City hasn't seemed to be nervous or anything on this drive. They're just methodically working their way down the field, letting this clock run, staying in bounds. I think they want to try to milk as much time off the clock as they can, banking on this offense to be able to punch it into the end zone at the last second.
Running the 4-minute offense to perfection currently.
Absolutely. Caswell on 2nd down and 5 throws it. What a jumping catch by Matthew. Thrown a little behind him and high, but he's still able to pluck it out of the sky, adding on to his phenomenal rookie season.
Jeez, James Matthew, will you calm down a little bit? Man, just
Wow,
jumping
he's making
right
me look bad.
right? Exactly. Jumping in front of 3 defenders on that play. Wow.
James, tight ends are not supposed to be that athletic, buddy. Let's just, let's block and catch some easy
Says you.
passes. Like split backs in the backfield on 1st down. Ball's handed off to Willis. Met right at the line of scrimmage, and we are not going to see a field goal because we are down to the 2-minute warning. They're going to need this touchdown to take the lead. We're going to take a short break, and we will be back to see how this exciting game wraps up. No low-scoring games here today on this SFL Sunday, and this one is no exception. Large part due to these quarterbacks, both putting a lot of points on the board. Caswell with 3 touchdowns, looking to get his 4th to take the lead. Caswell from the 22-yard line checks it down to James Matthew. Gets 9 on that one. Will bring up a 3rd down and 1.
And good pursuit by the defensive backfield of the Legion to make sure they closed on Matthew Jr. in a hurry, because he's certainly an agile tight end, which we've seen plenty of times here over the course of the game.
Big moment here for the Legion defense. Crowd on their feet. Willis has a handoff, runs up the middle, and gets a 1st down and goal. And I'm surprised that Vancouver isn't maybe using some of their timeouts, because it looks like Queen City is dangerously close to scoring. 1st down and goal from the 1.
Well, you got one of two mindsets here from the perspective of the Legion. You can either let it go, let it ride for right now, and keep those timeouts for your offense, or just kind of slow them down to start with. Looks like they're going with the former rather than the latter.
Caswell hit as he throws out of the back of the end zone, and that's incomplete. 2nd down and goal from the 1. And Eric, we've seen this one before. 1st down and goal from the 1. And yeah, let's just go into the shotgun with no running backs.
Perfect situation to go ahead and just spread them on out.
That's right. And I have no problem with putting out 3 wide. Let's do 3 wide, a tight end, and the running back maybe. And here we have 2 wide, a pair of tight ends in the running back. So a little bit more of a traditional format, and hit at the line, but a penalty, another penalty inside of 2 minutes for the Vancouver Legion, this time jumping off sides.
Neutral zone infraction, number 98, defense.
That one is called on Kevin Brackett, the defensive end for the Legion. And I believe that'll give them a fresh set of downs, Eric. No, they'll still mark it as a 2nd down and goal from the 1. So just not a devastating penalty, but moves them a little bit closer to that goal line.
Moves them closer by maybe a chest hair.
Summoning your inner Chris Curtis on that one. And well, here we go again, 5 wide from the gun. You know what I'd like to see on this? Caswell just running it himself right up the middle.
Quarterback draw.
Caswell will throw, and that one is caught by Chris Curtis. Queen City's going to reclaim the lead here late in the ball game with another passing touchdown, 4 on the day for Caswell.
And honestly, I think he was going to James Matthew Jr. on the opposite side.
I agree. He was trying to hit Matthew in the slot. And Curtis says, nah, I'm tired of you showing me up. That is my ball. So a late lead change. Vancouver's in a little bit actually better position right now than they were in the last game, where Alaska had the lead and it was inside 2 minutes. They had used all of their timeouts. So now here we go, as the extra point is up and good. Queen City extends their lead 38-35 over the Vancouver Legion, but a full minute to go. All of their timeouts. Tom Peppers had a very shaky night, but he's made some big plays. It all comes down to this drive for the Legion.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what I was talking about here towards the end of the Corsair drive is that these are the two thoughts that you really have when you're in the situation that the Legion were in. And now you've got all three timeouts, you get a full minute to go. You've got an experienced quarterback. Let's see what happens. Let's let it ride a little bit.
Let's get it started with Jacobson on his return. Gets it up to the 31-yard line, 69 yards to the end zone. And, Eric, we're rolling up on midnight, but you know what could be coming up soon?
OT.
Overtime. We might be broadcasting into Monday.
Oh, boy.
Nothing wrong with that. I'll take it. I was planning on broadcasting Monday anyway. Monday.
Who needs
night.
work?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I took tomorrow off, actually, so we're
oh.
good. Yeah. 3 wide for the Legion. Ooh, dangerous pass over the middle, trying to hit Brett Killian. 8th pass heading his way tonight, caught 6 of them. That one a little too far out in front of him. And Tom Pepper needs to just take a deep breath and let's get this drive going.
Yeah, and Killian's been very active in this offense as well in the second half. So certainly understand his desire to look his way. But you're absolutely right, Dags. Just take a deep breath, let the nerves just kind of flow out, do a little woo-saw, and let's just hit the ground running.
Shake it off. Pepper back to throw. Has his target. That time hits Killian and getting out of bounds, stopping the clock with 47 seconds to go. They'll be able to retain all of their timeouts. Fresh set of downs from the 45, and they're on the move.
Yeah, great play call here by the Legion coaching staff as it was an out route that Killian was running there right at the sticks, and he was on his way out of bounds before he was roughly ushered that way. But still stops the clock, saves the timeout for them.
Eric, I jokingly, said that the previous game to this one should go to double overtime, and it looks like those words may come back to haunt me.
I told you.
You did indeed. Pepper, deep down the middle, has his man, Craig the Moose Hearn, with the catch up to the 25-yard line. 35 seconds to go, and the clock is a-running.
Pepper's got other ideas, Dags. Watch out.
Pepper trying to go for the win as he throws deep to the back of the end zone, and that one is dropped. Trying to hit Hearn again, had him in the hands, fell out on his way to the ground.
Oh, wow. I don't know about you, Dags. I held my breath on that one because that was one of those plays you're just watching. You're like, oh, could this be it? Oh, man.
Is this the one?
Nope. Ah, man.
Not yet. Let's take a look at Achilles Frank. Had a pair of interceptions coming into the game and added on to that total tonight. Pepper in the gun. Nakai to his side, staying into block. Pepper fires over the middle, and that one is complete. Timeout called after that pass by Jacobson. That pass by Pepper hauled in by Jacobson. 3rd down and 5, 20 seconds to go. Big play here next.
Yeah, and they are within their kicker's wheelhouse here to tie this thing up. Ramon Rakowski here, a good kicker, despite not being one of the stars on this team. But I know that they're looking for pay dirt here. Pepper is ready to go here.
Play action. Pepper firing over the middle. That one's a first down. First down and goal from the 10-yard line. Vancouver will burn their second timeout. That one hauled in by Hearn, I believe.
Yeah, and that's key, making sure that they get it just past the 10-yard line there to get the goal-to-go situation. This one's a little curious, though. I'm not sure.
Look at this.
Oh, man.
15 seconds to go. First down and goal. They call a timeout, and Ramon Rakowski coming out for the 26-yard field goal try from the right hash. Low snap, but it's down. The kick is up, and it is good. We are all tied up here. 38-38 with 12 seconds to go. And, Eric, it looks like we are going to head to overtime, but, let's not count those chickens before they're hatched. Back to receive this kick is Davo Sanchez, which everybody who was not quite with us at the start of the second half, you missed it. But if you were with us, you'll remember Davo Sanchez returned it almost for a touchdown all the way to the goal line. Looking for the repeat here with that extra yard that he missed out on last time. Running right into a host of defenders. 8 seconds to go, and can't get into the end zone, so we'll see. This will probably be a handoff to Willis and see what Willis can do. Can't get what would it be? 73 yards. If we can't get 73 yards on this run, then we are heading to overtime. And well, or you can just leave Willis on the sideline. Caswell just going to see what he can get on this pass play. 3 receivers to the top, 1 to the bottom. Caswell firing over the middle. That one is complete to Chris Curtis. Timeout with 3 seconds to go from the 42. Not quite in Hail Mary range yet, though, Eric. Take a look at Eric Barkley on the sideline, talking to Caswell about what they're going to do here on this next play. 3 seconds to go in the ball game from the 42-yard line.
It was very smart for them to call the timeout there. That way, they can kind of gather themselves, get set in the formation they want here, and we'll see.
We'll see. Hail Mary formation. Caswell in the gun. And he is sacked on the play. Zig Washington with his 3rd sack of the game. That one's going to send us to overtime. 4 quarters was not enough for this one. I jinxed us, Eric. I jinxed us.
I tried to tell you, Dags. You wanted to test the football gods. I told you, no, that's bad juju.
You did. And what did I say? It's fine. And, well, here we go. So Vancouver has elected to receive this kick, and why not? Because here in the SFL, first points on the board wins it. Doesn't matter how you get them. First point scored wins the game. Ricky Matthews will kick the ball off from the 30-yard line. Jacobson takes it back at his own 10. Returns it up to the 29-yard line, and we'll see what Tom Pepper and company can do. And, one of the things that's nice about overtime, well, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but, one of the things I think is nice about overtime here in the SFL is that it's basically like a whole new ball game now. It's, tie game, and you can run your standard offense. You don't have to, it's not a shootout. It's nothing crazy. You can go back down to the ground, what's been working, and see if it works here in overtime. And they're going to start with that off-tackle run to the left, which has worked so well. And look at that, Pseudo Nakai breaking the tackle, getting up past midfield. And wow, wouldn't that have been something if it was a one-and-done play, but tackled on the play by Nacho Sicario. But they're already all the way up to the Queen City 41.
And a big chunk play just right out the gate. You're absolutely right, Dags. This is the beauty of it. No shortened quarter. There's no threat of a tie at all. Like, someone's going to win this ball game. And it doesn't matter how long it's going to take. So you might as well run the offense that you've been running all game long. No reason to change anything up right now. And Vancouver is proving that right now with Nakai ripping off that huge run to start things off.
Offset eye formation. Once again, same play. Nakai breaking another tackle, getting his way up to the 40. Only a gain of 1. I thought he made it a little bit farther than that, but Pseudo Nakai quickly approaching 200 yards. Eric, it's like you're Nostradamus. You hit the nail on the head all the way back at the opening, saying, feed the ball to Nakai, and they have.
I mean, I've been called the Sage a time or two before, so I'll take the additional titles and all that.
Pepper will throw on this one. Going over the middle, and he's got Craig Hearn into the end zone. That's the ball game. Vancouver winning this one with a walk-off touchdown by the Moose, the tight end.
The Moose is loose, and again, he gets behind the defense. This only happened maybe once or twice throughout the whole ball game, but a very impressive route by Craig Hearn, the Moose, and just gets behind everybody.
Craig Hearn says, you know what, we don't want to be playing until Monday morning. We're going to finish this one up just minutes before midnight. What a ball game. That one was absolutely wild. Queen City, with the loss, will fall to 3-3 on the season. Vancouver will extend their wins to 3 with 4 losses, 3-4 on the season now for Vancouver. Next up for the Corsairs, they will host at the Atlanta Swarm in Buffalo. Vancouver is going to hit the road next week. They will head down to Tallahassee, Florida to take on the Pride. Eric, wild game. What are your final thoughts on this one?
Man, it started with the third quarter. It started with the halftime show. No halftime show. Then we just entered into Bizarro World. We really did. So it just unbelievable second half here. The fact that the Legion controlled time possession 51 minutes was a huge just kind of standout stat for me. And again, like I said at the top of the show, Pseudo Nakai, he was the key to everything. Had to get him involved somehow, some way. They did, and they got the victory as a result.
As we take a look at some of these final highlights in this one, tomorrow night you can catch 3 more Simulation Football League games. First up at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, the defending champion Alaska Storm will head to Chicago to take on the Wildcats. That one will be on the 11 Sports Network. Also at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, the St. Louis Gladiators will head to San Francisco to take on the Sharks. That one will be on the Twitch channel for the Simulation Football League. Then at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the Week 7 Fan Night Game of the Week. I will be back on the call with Matt Wilson. We will be in Atlanta, Georgia, as the Tallahassee Pride take on the Atlanta Swarm. And tonight's game, this whole day's game, have just been absolutely crazy. Crazy amount of points. This one over 80 points itself combined between the two teams, and just an absolute fireworks show all day long. And getting the tight ends involved, I like to see that, Eric. But walk-off touchdown for Craig Hearn has really kind of wrapped up the whole night, and that's just what the whole day has been like, I should say. Non-stop scoring.
The icing on the cake there was just that huge over-the-top chunk play to Craig Hearn to just finish everything off here. But hey, hats off to Pseudo Nakai. I really hope that he gets player of the game here because he does not get the football nearly as often as he should, and hopefully the Legion will use this game tape as an example of that.
Nakai or Craig Hearn, and this one is definitely indeed, as you mentioned, Pseudo Nakai. 17 rushing attempts, 195 yards, and a pair of rushing touchdowns. Added another one through the air. 3 carries last week, and this week he carried the entire team. This has been a presentation of the Simulation Football League on the 11 Sports Network. For producer and commissioner Cameron Irvine and Eric Vince, and I am Mike Dagg saying thank you for joining us, everybody, and good night.